Dirty Sports, episode 855, live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Southern California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good morning. No chill. Isn't it kind of funny that's been your thing?
Bro, I literally just thought about that the other day. Who was I even talking to? I was talking to somebody about this. I was talking to somebody about how for the last 800 episodes, you've opened the show by calling me Joey No Chill Prano. Which, yeah, it's wild.
Did we always start that way?
I mean, at some point, I think there was some sort of especially no chill episode, and then the next episode you did it, and then you just never stopped.
Classic.
Oh, I forget. I think it was maybe Twerks with Wolves, who I played golf with last week. I was like,
"Oh, you play with Twerks?"
I did, yeah. And I put up a story on my Instagram, and I tried to put a twerking emoji, and I went into the twerking emoji, like the twerking GIFs. And for some reason on the GIFs on Instagram, there was a twerking wolf. And I was like, how's that even a GIF? Yes. So I put that up, and then I had to explain Twerks with Wolves to his roommate. And I basically said, we were joking about his Native American background, and I wanted to call him Dances with Wolves, but he's also a millennial. So I went with Twerks with Wolves. And then that led into how crazy it is that, like, I would say the majority of DMs I get from dirtballs on Twitter, on Instagram, on whatever, they're like, no chill. I wanted to throw this thing by you. I'm like, I mean, wow. the amount of times I've walked on stage at a comedy club, and somebody's just like, no, chill. And then I've got to explain it to the crowd why this one guy's sitting alone, why he's wearing a trench coat and dark glasses, why he's screaming no chill.
Oh, man.
Don't question him. He has a rifle under there.
Oh, the dirtballs.
And then the dirtball is great. They'll scream no chill when you walk on stage, and then they'll mill around the lobby for 40 minutes until you ask them if they want to take a picture.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a classic dirtball.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that today.
Do you want to take a picture? He's like, that would be great. I do have to drive 6 hours back home after the show. You're like, okay, let's get you that picture. Let's get you out of here, buddy.
I was thinking about the dirtballs today because I think officially, I know I've said this, I think officially this will be the last episode where I grew up, which obviously floods a lot of memories, especially
by Wall Street.
Especially that. And the fact that was almost 6 years ago when the dirtballs camped out in the backyard. I keep poking my lady that I'm going to create something where dirtballs can sleep in the basement. And like, it doesn't even get a smile from her. Like, yeah. It is not happening.
Roscoe's chicken and dirtballs.
Roscoe's doing better. Roscoe
Great.
Update. Now, he hasn't pooped in 2 days, but that's good. No diarrhea, no vomiting. Not a fan of the lean dog food they gave him. So when you have pancreatitis, it has to be a completely low/0 fat. I'm sure it's the same for humans. So I knew he's kind of a picky eater. I knew when they gave him this stuff. And then I love how the vet Joe yesterday is like, well, I'm like, he's still not eating. She's like, well, why don't you bake completely plain chicken? And I'm thinking, why didn't you tell me this from the start? Of course, yeah. He didn't need specific seasoning. Like, he's a dog. It's still human food. If you would have told me to bake him chicken, I wouldn't have wasted all this money on the prescription dog food.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Andy Ruther, new dog owner. New dog dad.
Oh, dude, I snapped the other day. You're right. Angry Ruther. I'm back, baby. Just lost my mind trying to install Spectrum self-installation internet. It wouldn't work. It kept not working. The app is terrible. I had to call somebody. Lost it. Just lost it in the new house.
Did you give like the operator like, are you even in America?
No, I didn't do that. She
I
actually
want to see how Midwest you've become.
She was great.
With your ching chang and you're calling me from Pakistan. I just want cable.
Hey, man.
I got Fox News to watch.
The Midwest is way more. Come on, man. We're not all of that. The people of Kansas have spoken. They're more progressive on issues than you would think.
Yeah, what's up, Kansas?
And speaking of progressive issues,
there's nothing to do in Kansas but fuck. So they need their fucking abortion rights. They don't even have hills.
Oh, I know. Kansas, again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Worst, like it's right. It's top 5 worst state to drive through. But we're talking about progressive issues. And I want to tie that into Brittany Griner being sentenced in air quotes to 9 years because they said
9 times.
Yeah. They say that's just the final thing that needs to happen before they do a prisoner exchange. They need an actual sentencing. But I just want to say to everybody, I know that this has been shared many times, but to reiterate, for everyone who has all that energy to free Brittany Griner, keep that same energy for all the other people locked up for cannabis or marijuana related crimes in our country, who are mostly minorities. Actually, it probably statistically is extremely, I'm just guessing 80 to 90% minorities. And keep that same energy because nobody should be locked up for any marijuana related crimes.
Yeah. Obviously you don't want to be locked up in a Russian prison.
Sure.
Sent to fucking Siberia. She's carrying around logs like she's in Rocky 4 or some shit. But of course, no one should be in prison for marijuana, even if it's a, corporate funded American prison where you can load up their tuition on your credit card and the whole thing's a big goddamn business. But even in those places for pot, stop it.
I mean, can we exactly like where are we at? Like, we're still having this discussion. We're still having this discussion about pot, gambling.
I know. And it's so funny because progressive folks, which like that's, people always talk about Republicans, Democrats, like progressives, which that's certainly the mentality I subscribe to. If not a political party thing, people are always talking about, oh, cancel student debt, do this, do that. It's like, how about just free all marijuana prisoners? I'll just free 100% of them right now. Forget cancel student debt. Just let all those people out. Let them walk.
It's wild that nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's nuts. It's nuts that nobody brings that up. Like, I don't know what the stat is. I'm going to look it up. How many people are locked up for marijuana related crimes? What do you think it is?
I mean, tens of thousands.
Let me guess 50,000. This is where an intern would come in clutch. Okay. See, it's like, okay. This is an article from 2 years ago in Forbes. So 2 years ago, Forbes, take it for what it's worth. 40,000 Americans incarcerated for marijuana offenses. 40,000. That's insane.
Free them all.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. Unbelievable. But it looks like she's going to get out. They're going to do a
including now Amon Shumpert, who got arrested with 6.5 ounces of weed in his backpack getting on a flight. Why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't he?
Well,
yeah, it's stupid to bring 6.5 ounces in your backpack.
I was going to say that's my thing on these arguments. Both can be true. Like, stupid, But also,
But also,
he should be
why?
able to.
Like, what? There's no danger of that in the plane. He's probably traveling from a state with legal weed to a state with legal weed.
And that's confusing, by the way. Like, that's all confusing. So, like, if I drive up north to Michigan, which I've done, gotten some product, you come back. The minute I come back into Ohio, like the minute I cross that state line, I could be arrested if I'm pulled over and he smells marijuana. I'm just saying, like all these laws.
Well, remember, he can't pull you over for smelling. You know, he's got to have a reason to pull you over. Never forget that, Andy. First thing you say, why did you pull me over, officer? If they don't have a good answer, be like, okay, goodbye.
He'd say, I heard you were losing your mind on the spectrum. Telemarketer or whatever she is.
We heard you made a racist remark to the spectrum guy. We've pulled you over to give you this blue ribbon. Welcome back to the Midwest. This is a 2 for $20 coupon for your local Applebee's. Have fun.
I'm gonna take you to an Applebee's one of these days. We're gonna go together.
I've been to an Applebee's.
I know, but you and I are gonna go together. Applebee's should do a deal with Deshaun Watson.
3 for 30. 3 for 30.
I was gonna say they have to up it because he has more than 20 accusers.
Yeah.
So the NFL, we were wrong, is appealing it.
The new woke NFL.
That is just a gesture, I still think, right? That is like I said, it's Pride Month. We turned our Twitter avatar to a rainbow flag.
Good. Fuck it. I don't care why they did it. The idea that he got 6 games is ludicrous. They should absolutely do it. Whether whatever their reasoning behind it, whatever the PR spin is, good. I hope he gets more games.
Yeah, but I would counter, and again, none of it really matters because we all know they're going to do what they're going to do. Why even have, this is where I'm confused. Why even have a independent arbiter?
I'm assuming,
what's the point?
I'm assuming that was a negotiation between the league and the Players Association.
So now Roger Goodell gets to handpick someone else to decide the suspension, and then he can ultimately, it's kind of all just a dog and pony show at this point. None of this really mattered. If ultimately he's going to do what he wants to do, what was the point of all this? You've wasted everyone's time.
Yeah, but the whole thing is like, I'm sure that I have not read on it, but I'm assuming this whole process of appeals is now this person that he picks has to consider this arbiter's, ruling and why and all that stuff. It's, that's obviously the NFL is far different than the U.S. judicial system, but that would be, it seems like it's a similar process to now somebody else is going to take all the things that have already been said and all the things and whatever. Honestly, here's the thing. Like, the NFL has been so fucked up for so long, especially in these sort of cases, that whatever the dog and pony show, like, cool, do it. Also do a dog and pony show of dragging Daniel Snyder through the mud and do it just if you're going to do things for a show, great, because it's insane. And we've seen the reaction and the fallout from the 6-game ruling. It's insane that there are some people who are like, yep, that makes sense. Let's get him out there in week 7.
Well, first of all, there's so much to break down here. And I want to start with Randy Ruther.
Oh, do we have a check-in from Randy? He texted me yesterday that he called the show, but he was certain that you wouldn't play it. I think the reason he was certain you wouldn't play it is because he went after a Detroit Lions fan before, and you deemed it too harsh.
Well, I felt bad.
And now on the rundown, we have like our 4th straight episode of like mocking Detroit Lions fans. And Randy was like, I was ahead of the game.
Oh, he was. Here's the thing. He was going hard at a dirt ball. I guess in my old age, I've gotten softer. That's definitely true. So some of his vernacular, I didn't maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But like I have a little more of a heart. This isn't the 2016 Ruther that's just going off.
I mean, and also Randy's got a doctor, like it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation. It's definitely a Dr. Justin, Mr. Randy situation. Like he gets drunk, it's full Randy.
Oh yeah, dude, you throw a few Miller Lights in that guy, and it's you're right. It's a different person, but he's calling because
like, I've been laying in the Arizona sun. I haven't had liquid in 4 days. I'm like an iguana that's been sunbathing. And now I just get up and I just start pounding tequila and Miller Lights. And then suddenly it's like, Randy.
Well, he left a call about Browns fans because it is funny what I've been seeing, because we've been seeing a lot of this. So I'll play the call.
Fellas, Randy Ruther here. I don't know how it happened, but within 48 hours, the Cleveland Browns fan base has become the absolute worst in the NFL. Like, your team's already been a laughing stock, and I'm a Bengals fan, so I get it. We're a joke already. But now when people are trying to call you out for your scumbag quarterback, and the only thing you can do is like try and name other players, like bringing up the 2006 team, like, hey, I didn't pick those players up, and I admit it. They're bad people. So when people come at me and say that, just say, hey, I had no choice of this. Don't try and validate the decision to sign that scumbag, and stop with the whataboutisms. You guys are a joke. You guys kill more quarterbacks than your quarterbacks got hand jobs. And yeah, you guys are just terrible human beings if you're trying to play whataboutisms with this. Just say, hey, oh, and I bet 99% of you had Ben Roethlisberger jokes too. Well, now you guys are dumb. Condoms are for Browns fans.
Randy Ruther. Well, I do love my favorite arguments always when it comes to people. They haven't been convicted in the court of law. Dude, he paid off 30 people.
Yeah.
You're guilty. You paid off.
Yeah.
Kobe wasn't convicted. He paid her off. You're guilty. OJ wasn't convicted. He was guilty.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger.
Specifically staying in quarterbacks in the same division who the Cleveland Browns fans there is at least as many Cleveland Browns fans who owned Rapeless Burger gear than there are women who Deshaun Watson assaulted, and that's a pretty high number.
I mean, look, obviously where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke. This is the billowing smoke when there was those massive fires 3 or 4 years ago that we could see from Venice Beach all the way up in Malibu. That's what kind of smoke this is, where you're not sure, is that smoke or is this clouds? This is the mushroom cloud that when we dropped the A-bomb over Hiroshima in World War II, like this is the amount of smoke that Deshaun Watson has. He's a shitty person. He's doing shitty stuff time and time and time and time and time and time again. The Texans knew about it. The Texans didn't do anything. It's obvious. So I don't know why you're defending the guy. If you just want to say, hey, he's a piece of shit, but he's a great quarterback, cool.
As far as NFL divisions go, is the AFC North the worst
oh yeah, great point.
Top to bottom fan base, like I don't even want to say like shitty fan, because like it's not the same. Like the NFC East, Giants fans are pretty reasonable. Washington fans are kind of self-loathing. Like there's not a ton of like Commanders fans who are out there being. Obviously, Philly fans have their special brand of garbage that is all its own and across sports. And then you have Cowboys fans that are like delusional. I'm trying to think if there's another division though. Like, obviously, a South would be a way to go, but like Indianapolis is in the AFC South, so that cuts a little bit of like the Southern.
So where are you going? Maybe you're going somewhere else where I thought with this. What do you think
like,
the AFC North is?
AFC North, when you look around their division, in terms of like the shittiness of like the like cultures behind their franchises, and then like the finger pointing, it's like a 4-person Spider-Man pointing meme of shit. You've got Rapeless Burger, a murderous Ray Rice. You've got the Bengals, Ray Lewis,
and then Ray Rice.
And Ray Rice. You've got the Bengals that,
had so many criminals.
Should have turned their Bengal stripes vertical to turn them into fucking jail outfits. You've got the Cleveland Browns that are now suddenly just like diving on, like they dove on a Deshaun Watson as a fucking player, like he was a lost fumble in the middle of the field, and now they're clutching him to their chest and defending him. Like, this is a 4-person fight Spider-Man meme of just like overall just kind of shittiness about your own team, and like also just like
you're right. The
Rust Belt vibes and chili and Applebee's and fucking, wow. Like when you go on Baltimore, like you spend a lot of time around Ravens fans. Like they're not great.
No. I can tell from social. We all know because Steelers have the history, so their fans are obnoxious because they've won so much and they've been traditionally good. The Bengals
so much, but also like have the Rooneys who like institute the Rooney Rule, but then you like racism has dripped out of the Steelers franchise forever. They were like, listen, we'd rather Ben Roethlisberger center is a girl that he rapes before every play than have fucking Cordell Stewart like turn him into a receiver. And you're like, guys,
to be fair, Cordell wasn't. I mean, he wasn't all that at quarterback.
Still. I mean, we see there's slippery, blatant racism always coming out of the city of Pittsburgh.
I'm trying to think of the best analogy for the AFC North because I see what you're saying. There is definitely a lot of finger pointing within the division of Ray Lewis. Ray Rice is a criminal. Bengals fans are going to say, and then they're going to come back and be like, dude.
But it's like the Bengals think that the Browns are a dumpster fire. The Browns think the Bengals are a dumpster fire. Like, the also just like the shitty illegal play of the team. Like every team in the division's like dirty. like this is on the field and off.
No,
the
you're
field.
right. Because the Steelers have a history of playing dirty. The Bengals had under Marvin Lewis, were playing dirty with a lot of those players. Obviously, headlined by Vontaze Perfect, Myles Garrett. I mean, actually, that is crazy. That's another dirty play. Like, yeah, wow. It's like I don't know what it's almost like a WWE
like
event.
When you look like that's what I'm saying. It's like it's almost like the specifics of the geography too. Like if you go across divisions and you like circle teams geographically, you're not going that far. It's like a pretty, obviously Baltimore is the one that's most outside, but when you're like the circle that you're drawing from Pittsburgh to Baltimore, that captures that, it doesn't circle a whole lot of great areas.
Well, that's the thing
in terms of people.
And you figure, so Pittsburgh's only about 4.5 hours away from Cincinnati. Cleveland and Pittsburgh are even closer than that. Like they're all, it is that Rust Belt, that Eastern.
Meanwhile, like that's my point. You circle Giants, Eagles, Washington. That's a pretty small, but then you're circling like you go down to Dallas. That's a big area that you're covering. The NFC, I'm trying to think because like the South is generally going to have some things, but it's like you cover a lot of ground between the AFC South and Indianapolis. NFC South, I mean, New Orleans is a wonderful city.
You ever drink kombucha?
Yeah.
You know that shit at the bottom of the kombucha?
Yeah.
That's the AFC North.
Yeah.
It's just like Like you're going to drink it. You're going to watch the games, but you're like, I don't know what this stuff is. They say it's good for me.
Yeah.
They say it's
All in all,
probiotics.
like I guess my thing is in terms of not worst division by quality, but like overall worst vibes from a division, it's got to be the AFC North. From fan base to like the region to the players to the history to the like a lot of bad stuff.
No, you're right. I mean, I'd say overall pretty good quality of play as far as if you look. Even
because they're like, we'll sign every fucking talented criminal to this division.
Look,
the AFC North is like Australia. It's like where they put all the criminals, they turn it into its own fucking criminal island.
That's funny. I still think people are going to think I'm nuts. I'm going to say it. People are like, Ruther, bad take. I still think ultimately he's not going to get as many games as people say. And I think from a football standpoint, it was still money wise is a different discussion. Football wise, I still think it was a smart move to sign Deshaun Watson. Football wise, strictly football wise, take everything else out of it. And then I'm going to pose another question football wise, because this ties into it, right? The NFL is at least on face value saying we care about these women or we care about changing. We're going to appeal this. I want to pose this question after everything that came out with Dolphins owner Stephen Ross. Did you read up on that?
Yep.
So this was announced, or it was announced this week, I'm sorry, that following a 6-month investigation, Dolphins owner Stephen Ross is guilty in lots of tampering on multiple occasions, twice with Tom Brady, with Sean Payton. He's going to be fined $1.5 million. He can't, which by the way is a joke. When you're a billionaire, $1.5 million is like me being, it's like the $30 parking ticket I got the other day. Like that's the equivalent. Also,
which you definitely cursed about when you saw your car.
I didn't really curse. You know why? I'm used to living in Los Angeles. It was a street sweep cleaning day. I mean, $30, Joe. That's $150 in LA.
Yeah. Oh, bro. Yesterday, I walked up to my car in Santa Monica, and I thought I had a ticket, but it turned out to be one of those like they just stuck something in the side of your car. So I don't know, it was a Uber Eats fucking thing. I punched a fucking person in the face and fired my gun in the air and started cursing before I even knew it was a ticket. I was like, I'll murder this whole goddamn town. Where's the mayor? I'm slashing his throat.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is bullshit. I have 5 minutes left on the meter. I sucker punched a meter maid. And I was like, sorry, it's an Uber Eats coupon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the tickets are so expensive out there where, again, quality of life here in Ohio and Kentucky. I mean, it's a $30 fine in Northern Kentucky. Anyway, Stephen Ross, the NFL said, violated the anti-tampering policy on 3 occasions. Again, multiple conversations with Tom Brady and then New Orleans Saints head coach at the time, Sean Payton. So he's fined $1.5 million and he's suspended from now until October 17th. So he can't go on the team facility, which, by the way, is funny to me. Who's monitoring that? He can't show up at the practice, the team facility, the locker room, etc. Who's monitoring that?
Also, what does the owner got to do there?
Yeah.
He's like, okay, fine.
But the most important thing for me in all this is the Brian Flores lawsuit claiming that they offered him $100,000 to purposely tank. And this is where the NFL is so full of shit. They said that they did not violate that because, did you read this? Because I got to read this verbatim. They said he made those claims. Where is it? Oh, yeah. The investigation also found that Ross's offer of $100,000 for every loss, of which there were differing recollections about the wording, timing, and context, was not intended or taken to be a serious offer.
That's hilarious.
So the NFL, for everyone, this is really important. They are admitting to some degree that the Dolphins owner offered $100,000 to Brian Flores to lose games, but it was, in air quotes, a joke.
Yeah, that's insane.
So I'm going to pose this
JK,
question.
JK, smiley face.
Yeah, I'm going to pose this
tongue out
question.
emoji.
And again, I want to take the moral aspect out of it. I would argue right here on this show, from a football standpoint, strictly about the preservation of the game as we know it and protecting the shield, I would argue what he did, offering money to purposely tank, is far more detrimental to the actual sport than anything Deshaun Watson has done. Again, I'm not talking about morals. I'm strictly talking about who is more detrimental to the sanctity of this league.
The other thing is, because a lot of times, people love to do this, and it's sort of mixed messages about, sexual assault versus, like you said, the integrity of the league. But again, we go back to keep it in the same realm. What about the Calvin Ridley thing? Like, Calvin Ridley suspended a year solely because it's like the integrity of the game. I would say this is far more detrimental to the league than a guy playing fucking DraftKings or whatever.
Couldn't agree more. And that's all I'm saying. Morally, obviously, what Deshaun Watson did is far worse from a moral, ethical standpoint. Like, it's far worse. I'm just saying, from the league that always talks about protecting the shield, dude, you're protecting the shield by offering your coach $100,000 to tank. And now the NFL is combating that by saying, oh, it was just a joke. LOL. What are you, a 14-year-old girl on Instagram? And then this dude's got the nerve. He's a very punchable. I'd say most of these owners are punchable. It's like the old white guy.
Yeah.
He's in his 80s.
Why are your collars so big?
Yeah. It's like,
that's all I think of when I see a rich guy. Why do you guys have such big fucking collars? It's
like, you got a punchable face. This dude, in a statement, responds to Brian Flores' allegations. Ross says in a statement, the independent investigation cleared our organization on any issues related to tanking and all of Brian Flores' other allegations. As I have said all along, these allegations were false, malicious, and defamatory, and this issue is now put to rest. But no, they're not false. Literally, the NFL themselves said this was said, but it was a joke.
Yeah, that's insane. That's absolutely insane, because obviously Brian Flores didn't take it as a joke.
Yeah. I mean, come on. And he's a good coach. I stand by that. I'd love to have Brian Flores as a head coach. I think he's a great coach.
Where is he now? Is he in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, he's an assistant. I think he's a really good coach. I think he was dealt a shitty hand in a shitty situation and a shitty quarterback with Tua. I shouldn't say shitty, but, a guy who I just don't know can take it next level. And I think he did the best with the cards he was dealt. I'd love to have Flores as a head coach. Again, the NFL always protecting the owners. To me, this is the classic. I mean, you said it, and it's true. The NFL has the best public relations of anybody. They're appealing the Deshaun Watson suspension, and that's all anybody's talking about. I feel we're the only show who ever brings this stuff up. I was on a call for something related for a possible partner for Dirty Sports, and I was bringing up Dan Snyder yesterday. And it's like, I don't think these people were fully aware of that he was hiding on a yacht in the Mediterranean. I'm like, nobody talks about that because they let these stories just get buried.
Yeah. They weren't aware that Daniel Snyder is living a Nick Cage movie currently. I'm going to live on a yacht. Nick Cage in international waters. They can't get me on a yacht.
Yeah, man. It's just wild. And again, nothing's going to happen and nothing I hope they suck, for the record.
I'm going to steal our cheerleaders' declaration of finger pendants.
I hope they lose every game.
Who?
I hope the Dolphins suck. Like this, and again, just seeing this owner, I don't know.
I hope they lose every game. I hope they lose every game except the games to the Jets because I really want Kyle Aronofsky to get a Ryan Fitzpatrick tattoo.
We got to talk about Lions fans again. I can't get enough. I'm addicted. I am addicted to Lions fans.
Delusions. I mean, we did. I feel like we really discovered something last year during Thanksgiving Gate when we opened the Pandora's box that is Lions Reddit.
Oh my God.
And I feel like what happened is Lions fans, and I feel like the only way to describe it is like Lions fans, the Lions franchise is so bad that Lions fans are not a dumpster fire. Like the Lions fan base isn't living in a dumpster. The Lions fan base is living in the sewers like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we pulled up a manhole cover.
Oh my God.
Last year, we went down in the sewer like it was Ghostbusters 2. And we were fucking Dan Aykroyd getting like lowered down, and we got down there and we realized, oh, it is way worse. Like you guys have no idea what's going on in the sewers.
Oh my God. So,
and now some of them have crept out of the sewers and are living above ground, calling our show, tweeting at us, showing themselves. They're like Pizza Rat.
So that's
made us go, huh? Look at that rat. Maybe we should see where he ends up. And then we follow him into the sewers, and there's millions of them.
So this is what
they're like. What are you guys down here? And they're and there's just like millions of rats around, It's Always Sunny. Charlie in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia murder board. And we're like, what are you doing? They're like, we're mapping out our roadmap to 12 wins. And you're like, excuse me?
So last night,
fun fact, you guys have won. I looked this up yesterday. In the history of the Detroit Lions, they've won 12 games a single time. One single time.
The history. The entire organization. And I'm going to look it up. They started. No, obviously they didn't play as many games. They started in 1930. Or okay, let's go when they went to Detroit, 1934. So they've won 12 games one time.
Once.
1991.
Their last playoff victory, by the way.
So last night, I hopped on the Lions Reddit. I went from like being half awake, lying on the couch, I'm exhausted, to just hysterically laughing. To the point where my girlfriend from the other room was like, what are you cackling about in there? And I was texting you at the time, and it was about the Lions Reddit, Lions fans Reddit. And I'm sure, obviously, any team's Reddit is going to be all Homer based. And
I disagree. I think you get a lot. I think you get a lot of like. So here's the thing. I'll just give you an example because obviously I'm deep in Mets social media culture. I don't play around on Mets Reddit a lot, but there are at least two factions of Mets Twitter. And I said this the other day when I was tweeting, is like, there's a lot of gloom and doom to Mets Twitter. And I was critical of the Mets moves at the deadline. And in my tweets, I even said, as far as Mets Twitter goes, I think somebody would plot me just maybe slightly on the optimism side of Mets Twitter. I mean, Mets Twitter gets started. There are people who are like Francisco Lindor's a bust. We should slash his throat the next time he leaves the stadium so that we can be relieved of this contract. And I'm like, he's about to break like the Mets fucking shortstop record for RBI in the season. It's August 1st. So, but I feel like Lions fans, you go on Lions Reddit, you'll get one guy out of every 50 who's like, I think we win 4 games this year. We're a pretty historically bad franchise. And everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So this is the specific one that I sent you.
Not with Jared Goat under center. Excuse me?
Somebody posted yesterday. It's an image of Jared Goff, which again, that alone should just be ring the fire alarm because it's Jared Goff. It's a picture of Jared Goff, and the title of the post says thoughts. And next to the picture of Goff, it says, what's the Lions record during this 5-game stretch? And this is the last one of the last like 5 games towards the end of the year. It's against Jacksonville, against Minnesota, at the Jets, at Carolina, against Chicago. So weaker teams. And again,
not weaker than the Lions, but weak in the league.
Yeah, weak in the league. It's week 13 to 17.
All teams except for one that had a better record than the Lions last year.
The first comment, and he's not being facetious. He says 4-1 should be 5-0, but throwing in 1 L there for credibility. 250 upvotes. And if you read the comments, most fans are just like assuming the Lions are going to go at least 3-2 in a 5-game stretch.
And what's amazing is I didn't finish, but I started. I was like, since the year 2000, since the turn of the millennium, since Y2K, how many random 4 wins in 5-game stretches have there been? I think it was 4 or 5. So about every 4 to 5 years, they have a 4 out of 5 game stretch. And even some of those, it was like a win, a bye week, a win, a loss, a win, a win.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a delusional fan base. And then it made me look up, out of curiosity, Goff's numbers. And then I sent you something which is not trending well for Lions fans. These are Goff's touchdown passes the last 4 years, going back to his first Pro Bowl with the Rams when they made the Super Bowl. These are his touchdown passes: 32, 22, 20, 19. So for 4 straight seasons, Goff has thrown less touchdown passes. That's not a good sign. 4 years in a row.
The other thing I can't believe is happening, I just cannot believe that this meme of a coach,
oh my God, I'm gonna
is like inspiring people. So here's the thing about Dan Campbell. I mean, the Giants just had Joe Judge. Joe Judge had certain aspects of his personality, a few aspects of his personality. You're like, okay, I see what you're saying there. But I would say about 60% of Joe Judge's personality, to me as a Giants fan, was like, I don't know how I feel about like punishing professional players with laps and push-ups and rah-rah fucking bullshit. Dan Campbell,
oh my God,
they went into the portion of Joe Judge's brain that makes a modern NFL fan cringe, and they did a biopsy from that part of his brain, and they put that piece of his brain in a petri dish, and they grew a human out of that. They cloned a human from the fucking most backwards ass rah-rah shitty part of Joe Judge's brain, and they made Dan Campbell, and Lions fans love it.
Oh, they love it. Now, he's very entertaining from a comedic sense. So yeah, I couldn't stop watching.
So is Mr. Bean.
Yeah, the clip. I think Dan Campbell's funnier. The clip I'm about to play is from Hard Knocks, which I completely butchered thinking it was on last week. I got called out, which was hilarious. Shout out to Dirtball Samir, who DM'd me like, yo, dude, what? Like, it's August 9th, not August 1st. So I don't know what I looked up. Total mess up on my part. Anyway, they previewed a clip for next week's episode. I've probably watched this clip 7 or 8 times because it's like a parody turned into real life, like you said. Dan Campbell's a meme. This is a meme. This is a South Park character. I know everybody always calls him PC Principal because he kind of looks like that guy. This is absolutely real what I'm about to play. Imagine being a professional football coach in the National Football League and saying these things to try to hype up your team.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? I think it's that right there. It's grit. And what does it mean? In a nutshell, I think it means this. We'll go a little bit longer, we'll push a little harder, and we'll think a little deeper and a little sharper. It means we're unbreakable. Like, to me, it means we'll play anywhere. We'll play on grass, we'll play on turf, we'll go to landfill. Doesn't matter. And that's what we got to be. That's who we have to be. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to bury you. Let's go to work, man. It's about to be fun. O&D.
I'm not convinced he knows anything about like substances.
We're gonna bury you. We'll bury you in water. We'll bury you in water and we'll drown you in bricks. We'll take you to a landfill and we'll drown you. We'll take you to a pool. We'll bury you.
You bury somebody in a solid and you drown them in a liquid.
We don't care. We don't care.
You know what he
Offense
is?
and defense puts lotion in the basket. Let's go
You know
to
what it
work.
reminds me of?
You know what this is right here? It's a brick. You know what happens if you stock them up? You get a brick wall. You know what I would do for you guys? I'd run fucking through it.
What?
You know what he reminds me of? Again, it's all about comedy for me. You remember the sketches that Chris Farley used to do?
Yeah.
Was it Mick
Motivational speaker?
Foley? Something Foley?
Yeah.
That he lived in a trailer down by the
Yeah.
river. But that's again, that's why it's comedy to me. Like, you remind me of an old SNL sketch with Chris Farley, and they show the players' faces. Like, if I'm on that team, if I'm Jared Goff and he's in the picture, I'm saying, dude, what the fuck is my game plan?
Yeah.
I don't care about.
I just
playing-
see, and from every fucking training camp, they always show like the quarterback over there with the helmet on and he's standing right next. You get the picture all the time. New coach, blah, 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 with the quarterback, and they're just standing next to the coach and they look like they're talking. I'm just like captioning that conversation between Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. It's like, so if I've got my ex receiver matched up in one-on-one, and he's playing him on the inside, he comes on this, sluggo. Do I want to? He's like, you want to just feel it in your balls? No, but I'm saying, do I want to lead him on the inside? Do I want do I want to look him off first? And he's like, look inside yourself. That's where you want to. No, but I mean, like, my eyes, like at the safety. Like, do I want to look off the safety?
You want to look inside your soul. You want to look inside your nutsack. See if you got the fight in you. It's not where the safety's playing. It's the size of the dog in the fight, Jared.
And he's like, I feel like you're mixing metaphors here.
So
I'm not speaking metaphorically.
We watch Hard Knocks every year. Normally, there's always that guy, whether it's the strength trainer, the D-line coach. None of them are the head coach. You know what I'm saying? There's the one guy who's the coach or the trainer or whatever it is on the team. There's the one guy who's going to be the Dan Campbell. But again, he's not the head coach. That's your head coach. Like, is he showing up with just zero?
I mean, this whole
knowledge?
thing was he was never qualified to be the head coach of this team. Wasn't he like the tight end coach in Miami? Wasn't he the tight end coach on a struggling franchise? Again, you take like the worst of Joe Judge. Joe Judge was on the Patriots staff.
He was the assistant head coach, whatever that means. They all list that. And tight ends coach at the Saints. So he was an interim coach in 2015 for the Dolphins midseason. They went 5-7. And he went 3-13-1 last year. I mean, everything about him.
Dude, we got a lot of games. We took a lot of L's last year. This year we're going to get a lot of W's. So what are we going to do about it? Well, look at that L. See that up there on the board? It's an L. I'm going to give you a hammer. You're going to beat it. You're going to beat it like an old-timey blacksmith until it looks like a W. That's it. We're going to physically reform L's into W. But are we going to do that with like a better offense or a better defense? Grit. Determination. Fight.
Oh, I can't wait for this season. I can't wait. Like this, like I want more of this. This is hilarious. I want more of this. I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now. None of this, everything I'm reading, I'd say it makes perfect sense. Campbell is a noted fan of Metallica, and during his time at Texas A&M, he was nicknamed Dan Talica by his roommate Shane Leckler. He also enjoys country music and classic rock, of course. Everything about him screams all those things. Get ready, kids.
It's
this week.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that he is the head coach of a football team. But it's not unbelievable because they're the Lions, but it's unbelievable that people are buying in. To me, is mind blowing.
Is there
people like we love it?
Is there
Let me
another?
ask you something. Let me ask you guys something right here. When Tim McGraw got barbecue sauce on his white T-shirt, did he give up? Did he just walk around barbecue stain guy? No. He went down to the store. He got himself some shout. And then what did he get? What did he get to apply on that barbecue stained T-shirt? He got something with a little grit on it. And he used that grit to get that off. And now he's married to Faith Hill. Let's go. Offense and defense. The fuck is this guy talking about?
Well, you mentioned barbecue sauce, and I'm hungry. It makes me want to go over to my new house, fire up the grill, and throw some of those butcher box steaks on it and cook a nice post dirty sports meal. I love butcher box, Joe. I mean, we've been working with them for years. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a subscription service that delivers high quality meat and seafood right to your doorstep. You don't have to.
It's such good quality too. I mean, at this point, I have a hard time finding better quality meats than I get from Butcher Box.
Yeah,
the days of the corner butcher are long gone.
That's right.
You're not getting it at some name brand supermarket. Not what you're getting from Butcher Box.
And for me,
their bacon, unbelievable.
Well, it's funny you say that because we got a great deal going on with bacon right now. Like the best deal possible. Free bacon for life.
Excuse me?
Free bacon for life.
What's that now?
Free bacon for life.
How's this work? Honestly, I'm going to sign up and do it today. How's free bacon for life work? Please tell me.
I'll explain it. So
This is like a Willy Wonka promotion.
it's the best promotion ever.
And
So
you'll see a world of unlimited bacon.
So Dirtballs, get summer sizzling with this special Butcher Box deal for our listeners. Like I just said, free bacon for life plus $100 off membership. So that's a pretty good deal. So this is how you get that, Joe. Everybody write this down. You sign up today at butcherbox.com/dirty and use code bonus100 to get 1 pack of free bacon in every box for the life of your membership.
Yeah.
Plus, as if that wasn't good enough, plus $100 off your first order.
Yes.
So again, this is our own URL. So just pay attention. It's butcherbox.com/dirty and you use code bonus100 to claim this deal. So you get free bacon for life and you get $100 off your first order. Sounds like a win-win situation. It's summer. It's heading into fall. Perfect time to fire up that grill and watch the Lions win 6 games.
Maybe. Certainly not 9 games. Certainly not 8 games.
But they're going to go 4-1 in a 5-game stretch.
Be really impressive.
I might have to go to a local sports book and play some.
I'll be in Vegas at the end of the month. I
Okay.
might hammer the under. It'll be perfect because people will be all jazzed up on fucking Hard Knocks.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Maybe that over-under will balloon.
Ooh, you're right. They're going to see one of his grits. He wrote that. If you watch the video, he actually wrote that grit real big.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I saw that.
It's like a John Wayne movie.
Yeah.
He's trying to relate to a 22-year-old kid talking about grit. Anyway, we'll keep following that throughout the year. That's going to be a fun one when Hard Knocks drops next week. We got to discuss baseball news. Major trades have happened since Monday's episode. The big one, Juan Soto.
Unreal.
The Padres are pretty stacked now.
Yeah, you can say that again. Padres are pretty stacked. They don't have Tatis Jr. back yet.
Sure.
And Machado, they got Soto. Tatis, looking like will return somewhat near future. Have Cronenworth, who's an all-star this year, who's awesome. They got from the Reds. He's not like a major star, but he hit a grand slam yesterday. He's had a great year for the Reds. Brandon Drury. Yep. Great player. Great, like absolutely the kind of guy that you have, toward the bottom of your lineup if you're a championship team. They went and got Josh Hader. And the thing about the Hader deal was they didn't even give up super top prospects. Now they essentially swapped closers, but I was saying, even if you look at their statistics that are similar, you got a vet. You got a guy who's been there before.
Sure. About what they did.
Soto, they're clearly going win now. Soto's got a couple years before they even have to extend him, although they probably will. I mean, and what's amazing about San Diego as well is they're not a huge market. They're just fucking all in.
Well, here's what I'm glad you brought that up. Last year was a major disappointment for them. Remember how they just completely shit the bed in the second half? The argument could be made they could have reshuffled after last year's disappointment, but they didn't. So obviously San Diego still has a lot of people as far as city-wise, but it's not the biggest market for TV deals and rights and those sort of things. They are doing what more teams should do in the quasi middle markets. Hey, we had a disappointing year but we still got some nice pieces we can build around those guys. And obviously they went to the extreme with that. And they're a legitimate World Series contender now.
Of course they are. I mean, Juan Soto is an absolute game changer for whatever team. That was why it was amazing that he ended up in San Diego. It doesn't seem like they even gave up. They didn't mortgage their entire farm system, which a lot of the talk was that that's what some teams.
Well, they didn't. I thought they did.
I mean, but across the board for this, it's not like that's it. I mean, they have other prospects. I mean, they give up in the Soto deal some of their top prospects, but it wasn't like 12 guys. You know what I mean? The talk was that the Washington was going to command essentially everybody that you have.
Yeah.
And they didn't give up any of their top prospects for Hader, which is why they still were involved in the Soto deal to begin with.
Sure. But
their farm system wasn't nearly, the Dodgers have such a deep farm system. The Mets, it sounds like, were never considered because of the division rivalry thing. There's also now rumors that there's like this Steve Cohen tax, that's why they didn't get a Wilson Contreras deal done, which is like, I don't understand that. If that's true, I don't understand what's going on with like butthurt owners. Like, haven't the Yankees and Dodgers and Red Sox been doing this? Isn't this their
doing it for years?
Isn't this their blueprint for success? Suddenly some guy comes in and has a bunch of money and everybody's going to be like, well, we're going to make you pay more because you're the LOL Mets and we think we can take you for everything. Like, the idea that Wilson Contreras didn't get traded or Ian Happ didn't get traded at all, and the Cubs are just sitting there on them, it's weird. Do you think I was not happy with our moves, but
do you think the Padres, I mean, they're 11 and a half games out. They just don't care. They just want that wild card.
Listen, whether they care or not, do they care? Of course they care. Do they want to win the division? Of course they do. Are they going to attempt to win every game down the stretch and catch the Dodgers? Yeah, of course they are. But the question of, like, how are you 11 and a half games out and you're making moves as if you're like trying to put yourself over the top? Well, that simply comes down to, again, as far as a wild card goes, they're 3.5 games up on the Phillies team that's the closest of taking them out of wild card spot. So they're in the playoffs with a semi-decent lead. And they're also, when you get a child in Juan Soto, building for the future. Like, the idea of going out and trading prospects to get guys, you're going, oh, we're in win now mode versus win later mode. Juan Soto is younger than dudes who played in the futures game.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, you're doing that a little with Hader, which you didn't even give up any of your top guys, but you're not doing that with Juan Soto. Nobody that they traded is going to become Juan Soto. I can say that with full guarantee.
I can't think of the last time like there was this much excitement for the Padres.
Well, I tweeted it the other day from Dirty Slides. The very first thing that we did on Dirty Slides is demand the Padres bring back the Brown. We single-handedly forced the San Diego Padres to reevaluate their branding. They brought back the Brown, and they changed their entire culture. Is the Dirty Slides podcast responsible for any coming San Diego Padres success? Yes, fully, 100%. I would argue if the Padres win a World Series in the next 5 years, that the Dirty Slides podcast is more responsible for that than Juan Soto. And I say that because it's a domino effect. You do not have Juan Soto unless you bring back the Brown. You don't bring back the Brown unless we start a campaign to force you to.
Padres haven't won 90 games since 2010. I mean, like they are just like you don't. I think people forget. Maybe they don't forget. They are just a historically bad franchise. They've won 90 or more games just twice since 1998. It's almost a 25-year stretch just to win 90 games twice. I think it's great. It's exciting. They got a great ballpark. It's in Southern California. It's aesthetically pleasing if you're in playoffs that time of year.
It's great. I mean, listen.
Obviously, the rival with the Dodgers is nice.
The idea that they're in right now, the Dodgers are in right now, the Mets are in right now. It feels like, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but it feels like the potential of watching postseason Mets baseball in Southern California is real.
That's good for you.
It's trending that way.
Yeah.
Which I love. You know that. I almost, I don't want to say I like it more, but I almost like it more being a visiting Mets fan in big games. Was going to the 2015 playoffs in Dodger Stadium with you more exciting than going to the 2015 World Series in New York? No, but it was really, really close. Remember how great that atmosphere was?
It was great. Nothing beats it. Well, let's get to a call about your Mets. Your boy, DeGrom's back. We got a call about it.
What's up, guys? This is Samir from Texas. Prano, I got a question for you. Jacob DeGrom is back. He looked really good, really sharp. I noticed he's throwing harder than ever. He hit 102 yesterday. My question for you is that we've seen Jacob DeGrom dominate years ago, only throwing 97, 98. And in recent years, he's really upped his velocity to 100, 101, 102. And it's in recent years that we've seen him have all these soft body injuries, all these strains that have sidelined him. So my question for you as a Mets fan, would you ask, or as a Mets manager, would you ask Jacob DeGrom to maybe not throw as hard, see if he can sit more 98 to preserve his health? Do you think it's even possible for an athlete to go there and maybe not throw as hard as he wants to throw and still be as competitive and sharp? Curious to hear your thoughts.
So I agree. I mean, the idea that he started throwing harder and he started getting hurt, that's facts. That's not opinions. But I think that there's a little bit more to this in terms of how you look at it. First of all, Jacob DeGrom was dominant. I think that there is, and I don't know if this is DeGrom, if this is the Mets, if this is a combo of the two. I think there is a little bit of this, and the third in the combo is just modern baseball in general. I just think these guys get babied a lot.
Yeah.
I think half of the injuries, not to go full John Sarno here, but I think half of the injuries that Jacob DeGrom has had over the last, let's call it 3 years, are things that Nolan Ryan woke up day in and day out dealing with. The thing about Jacob DeGrom and throwing hard, though, forget dominating at 98. If you look at his velocity from when he came up, he won Rookie of the Year. He came up and was great. He was filthy good in that 2015 run in the playoffs. He goes from that to being the most dominant pitcher in baseball for a couple of years in a row. This is just how his velocity, when he started out, by the way, he was throwing 93, 94 and dominating, 95 and dominating. The thing about Jacob DeGrom is he doesn't look physically different. He's a little bit bigger, but he still looks like a piece of spaghetti. He's still a whip. He doesn't look like he's throwing 102 when he throws 102. He doesn't look like he's straining himself to throw 102. The thing about Jacob DeGrom that makes him so absolutely dominant, it is the most casual 102 I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah.
It's the most casual 98 I've ever seen. He doesn't look like he's not Tim Lincecum where he's, turning himself fucking sideways and getting all this body torque and whatever. It's the most casual 102 you've ever seen. So yeah, I get being concerned. I just think that the idea of dialing it back isn't reasonable. He doesn't he could probably throw 105 if he fucking tried to give it absolutely everything. He doesn't seem like he's doing that. I don't know how you ask a guy to throw 2% less, because that's really what you're saying. We don't need you throwing 100. We need you to throw 98. Can you dial it back 2%? I don't know how you do that. I could see you saying to a pitcher, go 85% today, which is, I'm sure, what he was doing in his rehab starts. But I don't think you can say, go 98% today. We don't need 102. Can you sit 99? It's like, that's not, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's you're, I don't know how you find that balance. It's just impossible.
It's like, I've started obviously getting a little bit more serious about playing golf. And for a while, my wedge game, you get a little golf talk for you golf fans out there. My wedge game was really strong because I would essentially just pick whichever club was closest and take a full swing. If I was 80 yards out, I'd grab my fucking, 60 degree and I'd take a full swing. I've now advanced in my golf game where I need to be a little bit more precise. And I'm really struggling with, instead of hitting your 60 full here, why don't you take out your 52 and put like 60% on it, And there's a whole clock system of how far to go back. Now, I'm getting better and better about going 50% back, 75% back. You could never tell me, take out your sand wedge and go 98%, but not 100. That's how does one do that?
Yeah.
So I think you just got to look at Jacob DeGrom and say it's some bad luck and some probably babying of him and some probably not wanting to ruin your investment and some being scared about having the best pitcher in baseball and not wanting to lose him for a long time. And also just, he's throwing 102 the same way he threw 94, the same way he threw 96, 98. It's just, I don't think he's changed his mechanics. I don't think he's changed his effort. I think he's just gotten stronger and he's just gotten better.
Yeah.
The reason Jacob DeGrom is also so goddamn dominant is he's learned to pitch in the big leagues. He's not the kind of, he's not a whole lot younger than Clayton Kershaw, who was up way before him because he was a shortstop. He's learned to pitch at the big league level. And hopefully now
it's crazy, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When did he convert?
Well, he was a shortstop in college, probably in the minors. I think
crazy though to change positions like that.
He also, I'm sure, pitched, but he was a position player.
Sure. That's why he's such a good hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Is that background?
Yeah, there's a great college clip of him hitting a home run off a dominating Chris Sale in college. Chris Sale's dominating a college game. And Jacob DeGrom comes up and takes him a yard.
I wonder if someone like DeGrom misses hitting.
I think he probably does. He also hurt himself swinging a couple times. So but he's back, baby. He's back. And if he's healthy, look the fuck out.
Well, I got a good idea for you this weekend. You mentioned golf, your boy's back. Not that I need to tell you to do this, but I think in these dog days of summer, the August heat, it's hitting us. I think you need to relax with some cold Miller Lights, Joe, especially if you're on the golf course. I know that helps your game, you said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Swing juice, you know, a little birdie juice. I mean, Twerks, once again, shout out to Twerks. I didn't know what the vibe was going to be. He was like, I'm bringing my roommate. He hasn't played too much, blah, blah, blah. I showed up. I was like, I'm going to walk it. I'm going to get my steps in today. He's like, we're going to take a cart, but in the back of our cart, we have a 12-pack of Miller Lite. I was like, man, Twerks, best intern ever. He's just like, help yourself to some Miller Lights. I was like, I can't wait.
Bless his heart. And Twerks knows that Miller Lite is brewed for beer lovers in mind. Guys, if you like beer, drink Miller Lite. It's not water. It's not some of these other products that are fruity. It's a perfect drink to kick back, relax on the golf course, on your back patio, at a tailgate, you name it. To quote old school, once it hits the lips, you're just going to find your happy space.
This is really, I mean, this is when Miller Lite season really starts too, right? Because the summer, you know, barbecue, golf, beach season. But now we're getting into like the final stretch of baseball. Football training camps have opened. Weather's still good. Football bubbling. Baseball headed toward the postseason. This is Miller Lite season.
That's right. So next time you're getting ready to enjoy cold ones with your crew, go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. You want to hear a call about the Yanks?
Well,
talking baseball.
Since we're already talking baseball, I'm actually shocked that we've made it this far into the show without talking what I think was maybe the biggest news in the baseball world, which is the passing of the GOAT.
That's right. I have that on
the real
rundown.
GOAT.
I'm sorry. I have that on
the
rundown.
real GOAT. Vin Scully. That's you know, as far as baseball losses go, I'm not sure there's a bigger one that could have happened, one that could have affected more people. I'm not a Dodger fan, but Vin Scully, I mean, he did so many big national games over the years. He is the true GOAT.
He called the Dodgers for 67 seasons from Brooklyn to LA. That's fascinating that he did that move.
Yeah. And just the best. Everybody's been putting out all the clips and all the things through the years, but he called the Buckner game. Obviously, he's the Dodger guy, the voice of the Dodgers for, the better part of a century. He calls the Buckner game. He calls the Kirk Gibson game, which is just too perfect. But if you want to appreciate Vin Scully, here's a couple things you should do. If you're not like a Vin Scully, fanboy like I was. First of all, just go watch clips of him just calling random regular games and the stories and the way he did it. But watch the Kirk Gibson clip. It's so good. First of all, I watched the Kirk Gibson clip and I watched the Buckner clip. It's like Vin Scully amazingly always had these things. Like the Kirk Gibson clip of just his at bat is like 7 minutes long. The Mookie Wilson clip is like 9 minutes long. Like this guy is the voice of just like epic baseball moments. Those are two at bats, average 7 minutes. But here's what you should take away from the Kirk Gibson clip, and it'll lead me into my next point about Vin Scully. Great call of the hole at bat. Great setting of the scene. Great whatever. He hits the home run. Vin Scully doesn't say anything for a minute.
Yeah.
A full minute. Comes back from that minute with a perfect line. Then goes quiet for like another 45 seconds.
Why don't I do this?
Alone in the booth.
Why don't I do this? So he works solo. We can play some of it. I have the Kirk Gibson clip. Let's just play some of it. We're not going to play all of it. This video is 9 minutes, 44 seconds, but I'll play around with it.
Go to like the 6 minute mark.
Or do you want Gibson coming up to get the start?
Sure.
And look who's coming up.
Just letting the crowd do its thing.
Yeah, like right there, that's a pro when you let the crowd, like you said. He doesn't even say his name. He doesn't even say Kirk Gibson's name. Look who's coming up. Let's the audience hear the Dodgers fans screaming. I mean, that's 30 seconds of dead air.
14 fastballs in a row. That's all he's been throwing. There goes Davis, and it's fouled away.
I want solar panels on.
I mean, come on, Major League Baseball. Trying to hit me with ads in between this. I mean, this is Major League Baseball's YouTube. All right. What mark do you think I should go to?
Yeah, you're right there. After the steal, it's like 2 pitches later. I think he puts it out, or maybe in the next pitch.
Let's do it. I got it. Here it is. All right, it's coming up here. 3-2 right now. 2 outs. Again, he's just
Sachs waiting on deck, but the game right now is at the plate. High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
That's it. He doesn't talk for another minute. A full minute.
I mean, it's amazing. Kirk Gibson can barely walk. Okay, great. I mean, Major League Baseball won't even let you hear the minute before they hit you with an ad.
Oh, and my next point about Vin Scully, and this ties in directly with our complaints about Major League Baseball. We talk a lot about the greatest people to ever do it, right? We talk about, Jerry Rice is the GOAT receiver and Tom Brady's GOAT quarterback and Michael Jordan and LeBron and all these people. I'm going to say this about Vin Scully. And this is something you cannot say about LeBron or Michael or Brady or Jerry Rice. Vin Scully is the greatest to ever do it. He will always be the greatest to ever do it. No one will ever be better at it than Vin Scully because he was the GOAT, and baseball, shitty as it is, will never allow it to happen like that again. They'll never have a guy alone. They'll never have a guy where they don't force some ex-ball player in there that instead of that minute, they immediately go to the clip. They don't show Gibson rounding the bases. And they got Smalls. He tried to come with his slider there. Gibson made him pay. No, they'll never, ever, ever do it again because baseball, stupid fucking Major League Baseball, always worried about the fan that they don't have. Never worried about the fan that they do have. Never worried about catering to the people who already love the game. They'll never have a guy alone in the booth. They'll never have a guy go quiet for a minute. They'll never have a guy who's telling stories mixed in with middle 3-minute long story. Ball misses outside. Right back to the story. They'll never have it. They'll always take some fucking broadcaster, pair him with some fucking former player dipshit. Vin Scully is the greatest to ever do it. He will always be the greatest to ever do it because they'll never allow it to be that great again.
Well, it's amazing when you watch that clip. You would think baseball or just sports in general would maybe watch old clips and say, guys, it's cool to hear silence and to see the pan shots of the crowd, but longer pan shots. They obviously do pan shots of the crowd now, but extended views of the crowd, the atmosphere, the audio. It really makes you feel like you're there. You could almost argue that it's better produced in 1988 at that World Series than games are now. But you're right. You know why they don't ever do it? Because everything is presented by everything, right?
Yeah.
And they need the sponsors and the money.
They'll go to the analyst and they'll be like, he missed on that slider there, just like you're missing out on deals at Target. Go to Target now. Get this deodorant that'll help you stand up to cancer.
No, exactly. It's definitely a moment in time.
The best
crazy.
Ever. The best ever. And honestly, I came out here like Vin Scully, Brooklyn to LA, and I was like, being able to listen to him on the radio was awesome. Being able to hear him I like Charlie Steiner, but every time I hear Charlie Steiner's voice, it makes me want to yak because it's not Vin Scully. And also, like, I came out here being like, I'm going to be a low-key Dodger fan because fucking Vin Scully's the best. And then I got here and I went to a Dodgers game and immediately started hating the Dodgers, plus the Chase Utley thing. Now we'll never root for the Dodgers. But the best ever. The best ever. No doubt about it. They're like head and shoulders. There's not another, like, Jerry Rice, I guess, would be the, there's no other GOAT where it's like head and shoulders above second place. Who's the second best announcer of all time? Well, I don't fucking know. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, that'd be a great thing to discuss. The best announcers of all time. Did people love Howard Cosell?
I don't know. Before my
talks
time.
About him. I mean, before, that's what I'm saying. Before both of our times. I mean, I liked Madden.
I feel like even Howard Cosell would say, Vin Scully, look at that little Scully go.
I mean, I liked Madden, but I remember even during that time, a lot of people didn't like Madden.
Yeah.
I just filled out a poll today. It was interesting. The Athletic is doing a poll for people who watch football. I mean, it was quick. It took not even 2 minutes on which team are you most excited to hear? Does it even matter? And they did put the Manning cast. They put on a scale of 1 to 5, the outside normal broadcast. How much do you like those? I'll be curious when the poll comes out, when you see the results. Because at the end of the day,
I mean, I'm a spoiled baseball watcher when I get Gary, Keith, and Ron, especially when the three of them are together. In my opinion, no doubt about it, the best booth in baseball these days. But that holds nothing, no candle to Vin Scully.
Yeah. Well, I know you have an audition. So LA of you. So
yeah.
Let's wrap this up. The hotline is 310-359-8365. Give us a ring. Any calls we didn't get to today, I'll try to get to on Monday. And quick note on that. Monday's episode will be later in the day. It'll be evening Eastern time. We have on Fred Siegel, who runs Freezing Cold Takes, which is a very popular Twitter and Instagram feed. And Fred has a book about the most freezing cold takes of all time. and he's coming on to talk about his book. I'm friends with him. I know him through the social stuff, and he's done the show before. So Fred will be on Monday, and he's coming on later in the day. So again, Monday's episode will probably start around 8:00 Eastern time to go over his book about the most inaccurate predictions behind the NFL. And I look forward to hearing that and talking to Fred. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. You can follow me at Andy Ruther. You can follow Joe on social at
Joe Prano on all things social media, except for Twitter, where I'm at Fix Your Life. Couple plugs to get in before we lose you. Probably already lost some of you. But August 25th at the Hollywood Improv. Tickets are on sale now. Great comics. Our friend Nate Craig, who's been on the show. Our friend Lachlan Patterson, who's been on the show. Hashtag Kooks for Life. Come to see that. I'll be in Vegas August 29th to September 4th at the Comedy Cellar in Vegas. You can still get cameos on Cameo. You can still listen to the new episode of the Joe Prano podcast on all places that podcasts are available. So do those. All those things.
Cool. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Again, we'll be back on Monday at a later scheduled time, but it will be released on Monday. Have a great few days. Stay smart, stay safe, and most importantly, stay